Okay. Now I have it in my AI companion. You'll see him pop up there. My AI, it was up there earlier.
Hey, Nikki, I'm here with you, but I have to run an errand in the middle of it, so I'm
You're
listening.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, don't
Okay.
worry.
I'll just letting you know. So when I have a chance to join in, I will.
All right.
Love you.
Love
Bye.
you.
I'm here.
Okay. Oh, and good news, real quick, Darla.
Yes,
For
ma'am.
anybody, Janelle, Stacy, you won't, but like, so Shelby and I talked today, me or Shelby and Bree, and we're gonna one night, like evening, so it'd be at like 5 o'clock or some 5 or 6, one night a week over at Restored Life, we're gonna do like a meditation. So then you guys, so then anybody can come, like you, even if you're not like whatever, you don't have to be a part of anything, Darla. Okay?
Even
Like
if our life isn't restored yet.
yeah, it whatever, but and I'm not sure about the exact day or the exact time, but it is happening. We just have to like decide on final things. So I'm just letting
Awesome.
you guys know. I know. I'm like I have to tell the
Yay.
girls tonight. Hey, it is coming back up. Yeah, Tammy, you can just show up in real life and we'll have a building. Yeah, so it's gonna be great. All right, just letting you know. To bring back some joy in our life and some excitement. Because Tammy, you're an Elkhart, right? And I know you're doing the chat right now, so that's fine. But if you're an isn't that like an hour from Kokomo or something? Or
I'm in Elwood
you're
now.
Elwood, that's right, and that's like down, or that's like an hour from Kokomo.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Um, so awesome. I'm excited.
Yes, me too. Super excited.
Okay, cool. All right, so that PDF that I put in there today. I didn't have the actual quiz on it. I gave Stacy and Janelle and two others of my clients. I thought maybe one of the other ones were coming tonight, but whatever, it's fine. Um, I gave it to them, but like if you guys can look through those archetypes or those, shadow archetypes and the patterns in there, and you can then do the shadow, like the exercise at the end, where it's like whichever one of these just because throughout the day, like we are these different archetypes, many different times. Like we can, they're all a part of us, but the rescuer, especially a lot of people like in healing and we're all healers here. So as healers, we can be the rescuer. We want to jump in and rescue somebody. And we want to, yeah, we don't want to see people, we want to help people. We want them to be better. We want to, that's what we want to do. That actually lights us up. That helps us heal even more. But it cannot serve us, right? It can, if it's coming from a wound, right? That's the difference. If it's coming from a wounded place versus this place of, um, from healing, right? From a healed place. And if it's from the wound, then it's more karma that we're creating. And um, so I wanted to go over those six really quickly. Like I would go really quick because this isn't part of the thing, but I want you guys to use that. And today, um, today when you went about your day, because today was about the masks that we inherited, right? If you and I think that all of you watched the live piece this morning about what today was about was our ancestral shadows and the roles that limit us. Okay, so like some of our shadows didn't start with us, right? They're inherited survival strategies passed down from mothers, fathers, cultures, centuries, all those things. And when you know these different shadow archetypes and patterns, then you can become more aware of them. But it's the roles that we took on so that we feel loved, safe, and accepted, right? These roles make us like we're taught to us that, okay, this is how you're going to be loved, safe, and accepted in the world. Um, so yeah, this is how that's what that's for. So we had the rescuer, we had the good girl. I was going to bring it up right here. Okay, yeah, we have the rescuer, we have the good girl. Um, Actually, here I want to do this just to go over them with every so you can actually see them. Oh crap. Who just tried to get in here? Shoot. Oh, well. I'm gonna get off of Facebook. I don't need to be on there right now. I don't even think I can. What am I doing here? Okay. So I just wanted to show you guys this real quick. Okay, so we have the rescuer, we have the ghost, so like the avoider. So whenever you guys go into like your shrinking, your people pleasing, you are yeah, shrinking, your people pleasing, and numbing out, disassociating, all of those things. The good girl, which is what a lot of us are, or used, or whatever, the mask that a lot of the ancestral masks are this part, at least for me it was. So it's like the people pleasing, perfectionism, and self, like the identity just like going away, right? Or just, not sure who we are because, and also the chameleon can be like that. But the hustler is the controller, like really feeling like we have to do more to be loved, to be more worthy. Um, and hyperproductivity, burnout, anxiety, and control. That's the patterns for that one. The shadow shamer, which is my favorite, just because I like the word and because we're all shadow shamers in this room. If you know shadow work and you know healing very well, we are all this. And I realized this with Stacy. Like we did it, and like as I was giving it to her or anybody, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is like all of us. But if you're very aware about all the things, you're very painfully self-aware, we can get into the pattern of being harsher with ourselves, and this harsher inner critic of saying like, "Oh, I should be over this by now. Oh, I know this," which this will bring us perfectly into what we're talking about tonight, about how we can know something in our mental brain and the knowledge, but our body is still like having that nervous system response. And that is the disconnect between when we just do mindset work, is because it doesn't matter how much we know, it's what we've been programmed to do, right? So, also the patterns of the shadow shamer is like emotional spiraling and shoulding, like saying, I should have done this, I should have done that, oh, I would have done that differently, I should have done this, or I should have responded this other way. And so, and again, there's also practices in each one of these archetypes. At the bottom, there is a shadow alchemy practice. So you guys can go into this PDF, and whenever you are noticing these things coming out, like for me earlier, I have a story real quick. I added this girl, a new coworker I have, like on purpose. It was on accident because I'm just like adding more people now. And today she was like, she came in, she's like, "Did you try to add me on Facebook?" And I was like, "Yeah, my sales coach just wants me to do." She's like, "Well, what do you sell?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm a life coach." And she rolled her eyes at me and like left the office. And I'm like, "What?" And I don't know, she's like, "Oh, yeah, of course, everybody's a life coach or something like that." And then like left. And she's very blunt and like, I mean, I didn't take it personal, but I thought, that's interesting because it kind of did make me feel like, well, I'm not like that. I'm not like, I don't know. There was something that came up where I'm like, why is she saying that? And I don't know. I wanted to immediately like run after her and be like, and like, why are you saying that? And like, it's a scam. She also said that like life coaching is a scam because there's so many. Anyway, so there was things that were coming up and I was like, oh, okay, what part of me? So like me, the good enough, right? That good enough wound that comes out all the time. I was like, oh, well, I'm not scammy. And anyone who sells online or has a business, you know what this feeling is when we try to get we tell somebody we're selling something or we send them a message and they're like, "No, I don't want it." It's that rejection. It really hurts in the beginning. So anyway, that was something that was coming out for me where I had to stop myself. I'm like, I'm not gonna go chase. I'm not gonna go like explain myself more. I felt like I had to like, oh no, but I'm not like that type of coach. And I started to over explain myself. But I caught that. And then the other one's the chameleon, where you're just kind of shape shifting between who it is you're in front of. If you find yourself doing that, then you can come to this and you can find the shadow alchemy practice and do that. So you guys, this was just something for you guys to have to go to. Because you guys will find your really like the practices that you really enjoy that you do a lot. So and it should be a mindful morning. There I am shitting on myself. But like for Janelle, the mindful morning is really important to her. And as it is something I believe everyone should do, but like the way she does it is going to be different than the way I do it or the way that someone else does it. And she has found the practices that are been very meaningful to her. Um, that she goes to over and over. Same thing with Stacy. There's something she's been doing lately that every time we have a session, she's like, "Oh, I did this whenever the thing," and they're going to this. You guys will have your core like, I'm going to go to this strategy because it works for me. And just knowing it doesn't work, it doesn't have to be because like, I don't know, I just really another part of my message is like, please find what works for you and what is simple, like what works for you and what resonate, like what you feel really good doing. So like if mirror work, like for me, mirror work does not feel comfortable to me. Like I look at myself all the time, you guys. I'm doing lives all the time. So mirror work to me is just like, no, I'm good. Like I can see myself a lot and I teach you guys and like, I don't know. Anyway, but it's very powerful, right? I do suggest people do it if they never look at themselves in the mirror. Okay, so those are the five most common shadow archetypes, and I really wanted to share those with you. And I hope that that's helpful. You can even print it out if you want, and like I just really think that yeah, I really like that workbook that I made. Okay, so let's go in to what we're going to be talking about tonight, what we're going to be doing. So we are tonight we're going to do a little hypnosis like Tammy was saying, telling someone as we were getting on here. She is correct. So but you can call it hypnosis or you can call it, shadow alchemy. It is the act of going into the subconscious, asking questions, right? And it's not going to be too long. We're not going to do a whole shadow shift, but this is going to be just a little like this is just a small little portion of what we would do in a regular shadow shift. Last Sunday, was that last Sunday? Yeah, this last Sunday we did like a really beautiful, short, I mean, easy to do, like ritual for me for doing this work, for doing shadow work. I mean, it was the basis, the foundations of doing this work. So I do suggest like I'm going to do that again because I really like that ritual. I think that it's something we can all do just in the moment. But I wanted to explain what I mean by that. So, we're going to talk about shadow and karma, right? I'm going to help you guys kind of guide you through like an inner experience of what it feels like, right? To bring in the shadow alchemy piece of it. We'll do an embodiment and integration practice. And then I'll kind of share about my program at the end, and you guys can ask questions if you would like, or anything, any questions along the way. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Okay. Do you guys have any questions so far about anything or thoughts or comments? If not, we'll just go. Okay. Let me bring up the chat here. And I do have the chat up. So if you guys have any questions as I'm like teaching this, you guys can just pop them in over there. And I appreciate you guys for being here so much. And someone else just tried. I need to get like an assistant. I wonder if that AI assistant, why they can't let people in. Like, can they just let people in? I can't see it. Anyway, whatever. Don't care anymore. All right, so I want you guys to get this started. We're going to do a little drop in. We're just going to get centered here. So I want you guys to go ahead and just, put your hands on your body wherever you'd like. We're just going to kind of help you land in your body. You're not here to be fixed. You are here to be revealed. And I want to just taking a deep breath, just taking a deep breath in and just feeling the support underneath you. I'm actually going to light some incense over here. I'm just getting into this present moment. There is nowhere else for you guys to be right now. You guys are, I have your attention. You guys are present. There's nobody else needing you. If they do, just you can have your video off and your mute. It's fine. You can be doing things, but it's just really important before getting into this that you are here and you're present and you're aware and you're holding a lot of compassion for yourself and for your shadow because this work can be, it's not meant to be dark and painful, but the first half of this week, we're taking our pain and turning into purpose. And the second half, we're going to really step further into our light. So that way, it's not like doom and gloom all the time. And we're going to talk about, let's go ahead and take another deep breath, and then we can just kind of, we're here in the room together. And then just opening your eyes, or if they're open now, let's get into this. And so I want to say, the shadow is not evil. It's just been exiled, right? It's just been like pushed out of here. We don't want to talk to it. We don't want to know it's there, right? And then karma, it isn't just past life stuff, it's patterns, it's emotional echoes. We talked about that this morning. It's inherited survival strategies. And so shadow alchemy, inheriting, using shadow alchemy to clear it is the portal to clearing karma and reclaiming our sovereignty and really stepping further into liberating ourselves from all of the suffering that we have experienced over lifetimes, right? But um I want to, when it comes to the karmic loop, I'm going to explain to you guys what that is. And if you don't consciously work with your shadow, your karma will just keep playing it out for you. And that's what I wanted to show you guys, kind of a visual of what that looks like. Like what a karmic loop actually looks like. And so in your brain, you guys can always come back to this of like, oh, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. And you guys know from this first half already. And I'll ask you guys, so what is the most important, like, element or concept when it comes to healing or clearing up karma? If anybody wants to share, or you can type it in the chat.
I'd say awareness or consciousness.
Okay.
I don't know what answer you're looking for, but
Oh, yeah, no, I'll tell you here in a second. You're great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Does anybody else have any thoughts of what, like, the number one thing to clearing karma is about? Come on, this incense is really getting in my face. Okay.
Is it releasing and reframing?
It could be. I mean, or that could be yeah, it's in there of what I'm gonna say. It could be, that absolutely could be what it is. So let me see if anybody, or if, hold on, where did my Zoom go? Oh, here we go. Okay, so it is choice, right? It's choice. And it's consciousness, it's awareness. Absolutely, we need those. We need the awareness of a choice. And then you said reframing, releasing and reframing. You have a choice to do that, right? But it is choice. I mean, and I know in every, when I've taught this to a couple other people, are like, "Oh, that's so like that's too simple." And I'm like, "But that is what we don't see that we have." And you guys know, because Janelle, Stacy, and Darla have been from Wounded Door. They've been in this space. I have said, we talk about, like, it is when you realize that you have a choice. And I'm guiding you guys always back. Well, what are the choices here? What choice, like, what is it? Becoming aware of that. Because if you can just realize someone, let's say, and I always use addiction, okay, because that's my experience, but I'm think like, or in a relationship, right? When we're in a relationship that is not, we're with someone, but they piss us off, but we're still there and we still do the things because whatever. Like when we get into that energy of like, I'm just going to do this because I don't have a choice. So when you find yourself saying, I don't have a choice, your karma is that it's that loop, right? It's staying there as if I'm a victim. I don't have a choice in this matter. We always have a choice. So like, what are the choices that we have that if anybody wants to share, what do you think? Like, what are the choices we have in the moment? Like when we say we don't have a choice, you're like, because we're like, someone posted, they were like, I don't have a choice when it comes to like the government. I don't have a choice when it comes to like finances. My finances suck. I don't have a choice when it comes to my job. Like what do you think though would be a choice in those things for people? If anybody would share.
Well, you always have a choice. So if you go with a job, you
Mm-hmm.
you have a choice. You have a choice to stay there and do what they want you to do, and then you
Mm-hmm.
have a choice, or that, or leaving,
Or
and
leaving.
or you have a choice of, yeah, you have a choice of stay there doing it and just enjoying it anyway, or being
Mm-hmm.
miserable while you do it. I mean, you have all sorts of choices.
Right? Yeah, we do.
So
But then, so like if then we go into, yeah, but if then I need to find another job and like what if, I can't or oh, I need my job to pay my bill, those types of questions come up and then it's like and maybe our parents before, the person that was raising us was like no, have those phrases of work hard, no play or, what's that one of like when, it's oh, what is that? Just some terms you guys have heard of your parents saying, "Oh, work isn't supposed to be fun." Or like my dad used to say that, right? Or like working hard no matter how somebody treats us. Too. I mean, the way the world is right now, okay. I mean, we're not going to get into all that. This will be a long train. This will be a long Zoom if we get into like the difference of the culturally how people have like now they're like, no, I don't want to work. I don't need to work for things. If it doesn't feel good, I'm not going to stay there or whatever, right? I mean, and it's fine if they are. But so like what happens is like, okay, I'm gonna quit my job, but then that's gonna make me like our brain can go into the like what would happen, then we end up staying and we're like, oh, but I want to be here. So we have the choice of, like Stacy said, of like the reframe. We always have a choice to look at it differently. We always have a choice, and really those are the two choices we have, right? At any moment, we have a choice. We can either walk away or we reframe it. That is how when I got started with all this, that's what I would choose all the time. If I was triggered by something my partner was saying or someone in front of me, I always had two choices every time. Not to leave the relationship, but leaving the room, finding your peace, right? For that moment, or shifting the way that I was seeing it. And it would always include compassion for them. Whoever was in front of me, most of the time it was my partner. This time it was David. Okay, we all know. I think everybody here, well, Tammy definitely and Darla know about the beginning of everything, right? Of like, it was pretty bad. But so how I would get through that is, and this is where that karmic loop where I started to shift it, okay? And this is what I want you guys to see. If I can bring this up here. I'm trying. Because that in that moment is the magic moment, is when we make different decisions, when we're shifting a different way than what we've ever done before. And we all know this. How many things in self-healing and personal development says this? Respond differently. Like same thing with karma, doing karmic work and shadow work. Respond it. I mean, there is no other way to do this than with choice, right? So let me try to bring it. I don't know why this is not sharing. Um, I have no idea. Sorry, guys. Like why this is doing this. What is happening? Okay. So here is the karmic loop that I was trying to, and it's really not, it's nothing like crazy, right? It's just you always have this, oh crap, hold on. Is that what I wanted to do here? So we have a trigger, right? Something happens. We have a response to it, right? We have a reaction to it, and then we repeat it and it alchemizes. And it just continues to a trigger, a reaction, and then we repeat it. We have the result, right? The trigger, the reaction, and then we whatever we choose to do right here, either repeat what we were doing. Sorry, that should be or repeat or alchemize. So the trigger, the reaction, repeat or not, or do something different, right? And usually it's up here in the reaction. That's also a choice. We always have a choice. That trigger, something happens. Now, how are we going to respond to that? What is what are, and it can go down to what am I believing about this trigger? So, for example, let me think. Who got triggered this week? Tell me one of your triggers. Somebody can share, and then yeah.
Nicole, I can share something that actually happened to me today.
Yes.
Um, I went yesterday for a job interview.
Mm-hmm.
You know my food background, and my degree is in food.
Yes.
Um, and this morning I decided I was going to pull a shadow card after, I don't know, after I got around and doing things. Then I got a call back about the interview. Well, the call that I got back was actually for a lower paying position.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not in the position where I have to be that higher boss.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
my first thinking was, wait a minute, I have a degree. Like it was almost insulting to me at first, but I had to shift that thinking to, okay, well, you don't need to be the top man on the pole. You don't need to have all that responsibility right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah,
But pulling
absolutely.
pulling that card, the card I got this morning was rejection. And then on the bottom of
Oh,
the, yeah, yeah. And on the bottom
powerful.
of the card, it says denial, dismiss, and inclusion. And it
Mm-hmm.
says, through the stings of being left out, we discover our own inner worth. So
I love that.
it kind of took me back for a minute, but then I started thinking, Tammy, you don't have to be out here working as hard as you have for all these years. You don't have to be doing the things that you've done. Maybe this is your time to just sit back and let someone else take that position or let them figure it out. Because you know, I'm a hard worker, so I'm going to go in there and give it my all and just let them see.
Yeah, you've been the hustler.
Yeah.
You've been the
Yep.
hustler for I you
Mhm.
definitely your name came to my mind with the hustler. I know we haven't done your quiz yet, but like
Mhm.
that's
Yep.
Tammy all the way.
Yep.
So okay, that's beautiful. And I really love those shadow cards. I definitely need to get some. Because that was perfect. But how would you have like how have you respond or reacted to something like that in the past? Like how have you reacted to that in the past, or how do you feel like you would have, or yeah.
I think years ago, I would have totally dismissed this whole situation. I would have been like, no, I'm better than that. And no, I'm just not going to settle for that position. But I think between all the healing I've done myself and then working with you and working in my own group and then taking this little time out that I needed for myself, I think it's made me realize that, it's a different time right now. Like I don't have to be that top person anymore. I don't have to be the one there working
Right.
umpteen hours and not getting paid for my overtime and all that.
Right. And how did that so versus how you would have been before, like you'd
Hmm.
be upset about it or feeling like no, that's not whatever. And then
Yeah.
what would that have created in your life or like in your
Oh, it would have
body?
been I would have been very tense and I would have been very like emotional about it. I wouldn't have handled it the way I did today.
Yeah, I
There's
love
there's
that.
no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
No way at all.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's perfect. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. It's those little things that happen that we can then it's like, okay, wait a minute. okay, something, I feel this, just like with that girl today that was like, oh no, life coaching is a scam. And I'm like, and I felt it, and my reaction was I wanted to go after her, like with Tammy. Like, reaction is like, no, I have a degree, I'm better, like higher than that. Why are they not seeing my worth in both situations? Right? With that girl, with the job, like our thoughts are, okay, why are they not seeing how worthy I am here? So needing that validation, but when we're clearing up the karmic residue and we notice that, and we're now, instead of repeating what we've done in the past, we're choosing to transmute it and alchemize it and do something differently. And it all comes down to choice, right? It's all the choice in every single moment. And so that's why in the beginning of this work, it's the awareness of that choice. And we always have to be coming back to it. Okay, what is my choice in this matter? And how can I, what is it that I can do differently, that's going to create a different outcome? So so this, if you guys, so the trigger, the reaction, then you can alchemize it. And that's the most basic, simple diagram of what's happening and how to do that. So you guys also know over here with this triangle, with the four layers of healing, right? The behavior, which is what up here would be after. This will be like the reaction, right? Of the karmic loop triangle is the behavior, the awareness, right? And then going down into what we were believing. And I think what's interesting, so like with Tammy, with your situation, what did you have to believe? What was the story you had to tell yourself to be able to respond to not stew on that afterwards, if you're able to share again?
So about a year
What was
ago,
the
I was
story?
working
I know
for a
you kind of
lady.
said it already, but
Yeah.
like specifically, did you remember thinking like, and I think it was probably, it's okay, I don't need, I don't need to work a lot or something. Was that
Yeah.
what?
I
It's
definitely had
okay.
to
Yeah.
pause for a minute because it kind of took me off guard because when I went for a higher
Oh, she might have
position.
to.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Yes.
So when I went for the interview, I went for the higher position regardless because I know my worth and I know what I bring. But when the lady had called me, I took a second, I muted my phone. I thought to myself for a minute, should I take a lower position? It's still a good company. I still get all the benefits that that higher paid manager gets. Um, it took me a second to like pull myself back in, but it's the limited belief for me
Mm-hmm.
that I really had to work on through the years because I know what I'm worth now. I mean, years ago I would have been I would have just settled for, that lower paying position, whereas now I know what I'm worth.
Right.
Um, so I would say it was a lot of the limited belief work that I've done that has led
Mhm.
me to where I am now.
Yeah. So really the belief
Hmm.
behind that action of like, okay, saying yes is really like, I don't need nothing outside of me validates my worth. Like I know
Right.
I do this and this will be okay for me. So
Correct.
I think with the beliefs, then going down into that shadow, which is the hustler, the shadow archetype we were talking about a minute ago, with like control and needing to be doing things and going and productivity about equals what we're worth, like how worthy we are. That belief was supporting that shadow, right, of the hustler, that shadow archetype of control. Like I need to be, or whatever. I need to be
Right.
going. And so
Yep.
when you have a new belief of it's okay for me to, I know my worth and it doesn't come from outside of me, then you can
Right.
kind of, but then when it comes to shadow work, saying, but sometimes the hustler's gonna pop up and I have love for that part of myself and I'll
Hmm.
let them be there if they need to be. But
Hmm.
yeah, so okay. Does that make sense for everybody? Like it's not very complicating at all. It's actually the most simple concepts ever, It's like and this is where it comes to healing does not have to be. You don't have to hustle for your healing. I heard that or read that the other day and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that is perfect because people are just like, yes, I need to do all this hard work and do all of this. So, okay, we're gonna go ahead and I want you guys, so you guys have a journal. Oh, Stacy, hold on, there she is. So you guys have, I'm gonna stop this. We're gonna do actually, I'm trying to think here for a second. Let me go ahead and share a little bit, but just to refresh everybody's memory about um with the nervous system. I know that a lot of you on here you all know this, but just know I'm recording this. This is going to be for other people as well. Um, so I want to go over, and I have all of our faces. I need to probably, oh, there. Okay, now we're up and down. Can you guys see your faces on the screen, or is it just me? Or is it just like, what does it look like over there? Because I don't know if I'm recording it that way or not.
I can only see you, Nicole.
Okay.
can
If I switch,
see I can
if I
see
switch off
Darla and you.
Okay. What, Darla?
if I switch off the where you shared your screen with that diagram, then I have everybody's
Okay.
square on the screen.
Okay.
But otherwise, if I have your screensaver up there, it's just you.
Okay. So I'm going to go over my diagram real quick of the nervous system. So how it's conditioned, right? We are born, right? But I think that we're also bringing generational stuff in with us when we're born. We'll be adding into that. It could still be in there, but we'll just for the sake of this, right? This is how it happens. Okay. So our nervous system is our body's protect like it's the way our body it's our survival mechanism, really, right? It's our body telling us what is safe, what is not safe. And so, but it was conditioned to be a certain way. So when we are around like 2 to 3 years old, when we're starting to really start to express our authentic expression into the world, and if we, we are bold and little I mean I just think of Izzy being like Avon wasn't this way, but Izzy was like sassy and in your face and like she was very like all the pictures, really at pictures the other day, and she's just like, oh my gosh, like what was I, she was crying all the time, she didn't get her way, all of the things. Kind of like with Elise too, Darla. I always think of Elise is very similar to how Izzy like yeah, anyway, every time I see Elise, I'm like, yeah, that was Izzy too. So when they're that age, imagine if they hear like, oh, that's bad, stop, which as parents and caregivers, we do need to like try to give them some structure. But I mean, let's just be real. If we punish them for being who they are, right? For being loud and doing things that is their authentic expression, then they are like, "Oh, this is unsafe." If you were ever, now I'm not saying spanking is all that bad all the time, but if you were like abused or anything, you were like, "This is unsafe and I'm gonna not let this part of myself come out." Right? I'm not going to let the loudness come out. I'm not going to, and that usually, that comes out more as we are getting older. And then whatever was appraised to be, a good girl, share your toys, then that becomes your mask, that's your persona. And these two things, the shadow and the persona, are created from like our caretakers' egos, right? They have an ego, they have a story, they have a journey, they have wounds. The person that's raising us, we have wounds raising our kids, right? We have shadows raising our kids and trying to do things right. But the nervous system is like, oh, this was unsafe for you, so it's unsafe for this child to be this way. Society says that this is unsafe, right? So the same thing with what's praised, right? Of being whatever you think is praised. And so that is how really the basic form, the basic thing is, oh, okay, this is how it's all created. This is how our nervous system is there. So it basically splits our psyche in two parts, the bad part, the shadow part, or the other part that's our mask, right? And this is conditioning. This is what it is. And so I won't go through all of this, but this is why we are getting ready to do the somatic work in a second, like going into the body and feeling what's happening. And the mindset work is there's three levels to healing. Two, because you're bringing all of this back to wholeness, right? The mindset, the body, and the somatics and the soul are the three levels that we're healing inside of my programs, inside of the group. It's always gonna be that. So what we do and what we're about to do is find a shadow piece, or at least, some a shadow concept or the shadow piece. And you don't always have it doesn't always have to be like this big, huge thing, but anything that's, we find possibly when we go in there in a minute. We take that shadow and a shadow shift. This is what we do. We find the shadow, we take it back up the way to the like where it felt unsafe in the body. So think about when you get a trigger here in a minute, when you guys get triggered, tracing it back to, okay, where is this sensation in my body? Does my chest feel tight? Is my stomach hurting? Right? That is a thing. That for someone. And also my sister, my mom and someone else, like there's a part in their stomach, like around their solar plexus, that really starts to hurt if when things outside, like anxiety comes up, right? And so that's because that in that energetically, and that's where that unsafe part was like, oh my gosh, in the nervous system, it was that. So we kind of talk with it, we have a conversation with it, and we bring it back up to wholeness to see what is it? Like, where did we learn this? Where did it come from? What was it protecting us from? Blah, 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 blah. All those things that we'll go into. And then we bring it back down and we create a new experience, right, for that shadow piece. So instead of this trigger, so back to Tammy's example of the getting the job today, right? Your body felt triggered when you're like, oh, they're going to give me a lower job. At some point in your life, when you were younger, an authority figure had to say, you have to always, about being, again, work hard, no play, or whatever, right? Hustle, some sort of phrase they said that put in your mind that it is not safe or it's not safe to not be seen for for your higher whatever. Like there's many things that we could say here, but the hustler shadow, um, or that, yeah, it came out. So that trigger, you felt it in your body, you stopped, you noticed that, and then you started to rewire that, right? You're like, okay, but did it and all this stuff. So you give it a new experience of like next time when someone does that, when they are like, well, maybe you'd be better here, you're not going to have such a activated trigger, right? Because you have a new experience in the world with that event. Does that make sense for everybody? Because that's how it's wired is through our life experience. Hence why I also say documentation reflection is powerful for integration because you are literally creating new experiences to relaunch your soul, right? It's in coming back to wholeness. And then you start to do things differently, and then you have different results in your life. And then you can put it in your persona. You can stay that night, that good girl or that hustler if you want. You can keep that mask. It's nothing wrong with keeping it, but knowing you can also take it off, right? You're not scared to not like, the question is when you're no longer afraid to be judged for that thing, then you have brought it back into wholeness. That's always a good measure of with addiction. I was like, I don't care anymore. If people know that I used to do drugs, I was in that little whatever experience for a while. I don't care anymore. I used to really. I used to hide it from everybody. I'm like, oh my God, this is bad. It was such a bad part of me that if someone even talked about it, I'd get defensive and all this. But then now, today, I don't care about that. It does not trigger that within me. So I know that it's been integrated back into wholeness. And we can talk about our experiences. So that's the process of deep healing. Like that's how you actually do it, beyond mindset. And mindset is like, yeah, it all goes together. So anyway, okay. I think that was. And then when it comes to your window of tolerance, I was going to teach a little bit on that, but we don't have time to do that. how are you guys that you're here? How are you guys with the window of talk, like yeah, how are you guys with that, with your capacity? Do you guys understand that, or do you have any questions around what that is? I'm going to ask the ones that are here if you guys have questions about it. If you don't, and you feel pretty good with knowing what it is, then which is what all of this is for. This is literally why we're doing this is because we want to know how to regulate our nervous system and our emotions, but like get into that window of tolerance that's like, okay, I am calm, I'm relaxed, I'm connected to my prefrontal cortex. I can logically think, I can connect, you're in this secure, confident conviction. Oh, there's a lot of words that we can think of. Um, and that is where, and you can handle more, you can handle people not being nice. You can handle long road trips to Florida or or wherever. You can handle the kids more. You can like you won't flip out at the littlest thing because the trauma isn't about to overflow, right? So this is why meditation is so important, grounding, all the things we do. Um that's why. I mean, if we don't do all of that, and I wish there was someone on here right now because she needs to hear this, but like, that's why we do this work. If you ever find yourself wondering why you're doing this work, like, what's the point? This is the point. There's really no other.
Well, I did good. You'd be proud of me.
Okay.
Okay, so you knew I applied again for the peer coaching. And when I found out that Dudette wasn't leaving, I already knew that they weren't going to hire.
Mm-hmm.
But I waited for Will to confront me because he knew I applied.
Mm-hmm.
And I was waiting. I gave him 2 days
Mm-hmm.
to come to me and tell me, oh, by the way, Janelle, I know you applied for the position, but we're not hiring. That didn't happen. So I confronted him this time and said, I understand that Dudette's staying, so I'm assuming that that means that they're no longer hiring a peer coach. And
Mm-hmm.
he said, that's correct. They took it down right away. He's like, actually, I think you were the only one that applied because you're the only one that's seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I just wanted to let you know. I already knew that, but it would have been nice for you to tell me.
Again, second time around,
I said, it's not like I'm some stranger off the street that
I'm
applied
listening,
for the
my cat.
position.
Right.
You know me.
Yeah.
And common courtesy and professionalism, you should have come to me and told me, by the way, Janelle, we're no longer hiring for that position,
Right.
but thank you for applying.
Hmm.
And he said, you're right, you're right.
But that's what he did before.
But okay, so that made my decision, and I had no qualms about telling everybody what I decided today.
Okay.
I am no longer striving to be a peer coach anywhere
There. Okay. Or anywhere. Okay.
or at this moment.
Okay.
I'm going to still volunteer in cafe. I'm putting in my 18 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the time, I'm concentrating on my family and me.
Yes. How does that feel?
That feels great
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
I wanted it so bad, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay to let it go for now. I, I'm not getting any younger.
Mm-hmm.
I wasted a lot of years with my husband, and
Oh,
I want to spend time with him. And I'm still
yeah.
helping people, and I feel good with that. I'm still going to keep my certification because things may change down the road. But for now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay stepping back and not applying anywhere
Why do you think that you wanted it so badly? Um, why do you think you wanted it so badly?
because I felt like I needed a career,
Mm-hmm.
that I had to have a career.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I
Mm-hmm.
do have a career. I'm a wife and a mother,
Yeah.
and I'm still helping people
Mm-hmm.
on my terms.
Right. But
And I like that.
also, or yeah, and also though, do you feel like that also was just part of your um like for you more than anything? where that those skills and the things you learned through that certification and going after that, and it gave you a purpose. It gave you a direction. There we go. Sorry,
Hmm.
that's what I was looking for. So it gave you direction because I still say you are the only one I have worked with very like a month out of or whatever, a couple months out of detox. I have not worked with anyone else and I won't. Okay. But there, and I, well, I guess they probably wish that I would because there'd
Yep.
probably be a lot more people that don't go back to rehab all the time. Just being real because it
Yep.
gave you a direction to look towards instead of like, oh, I'm just gonna survive. I'm gonna be sober today and I'm gonna
Yeah.
go to a meeting, which you did, okay? But I mean, like, it's such a shift when you stop looking at and I think Darla and I talked about this, but like of
There-
stop like
There's, there's more
defining
to life than just not using drugs.
yes, and that's
There's more to
Yeah.
yeah,
celebrate
right.
besides just not using.
Right. And that's what I think that did for you, but also like and that is like you got it. You didn't wait for anybody to you're not like I'm not gonna get high. You didn't sound like you were like I'm waiting on someone to hire me so then they can send me to peer coach certificate. Like you weren't none of that. It was like I want this, I'm gonna do this by the end of the time, and then I'm gonna do that. David. Anyway, he's outside my window making faces. So, so I want everyone to hear that, just to know that like we need direction towards something. Same thing with a business, because when I start my organization, Janelle, I'm hiring you, okay?
Okay.
Even if it's like 18 hours a week,
Okay.
whatever you want to be your, like that's my dream, and I will share all that with everybody later. But of anyway. Yeah, I love the clarity because it's the second time that that happened with that situation. Okay.
Yep.
It's a pattern. So as far with for that person who won
But
was
I don't
you.
make it mean anything about me
Exactly. Right.
because
Exactly.
I know that I'm more than qualified.
Right. Stacy, we're gonna say something?
I apologize. I thought I had a break in there, but
It's okay.
I was just gonna say I will help in any way I can. I'll be your assistant.
Oh, Stacy, we
Get
our
early.
session we have our session Friday. Don't worry, you're gonna hear all about it.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
I know we've already had talk anyway, so
Yes.
sounds good. All right.
Yes, you're in it too. Don't worry. Your name's already on my list.
And while I'm in here, I'm just gonna say I'm making choices this week to um, have a better outlook on things and make it about me and not about everyone else. And I have a choice to move forward with myself and my business and not let anybody else hold me back.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. Recognizing that choice. So I'm proud of you.
thank you.
Okay, so let's go ahead and we're gonna do this practice here, but Tammy, I don't know if you were on the workshop that I did a couple weeks ago about capacity work. So with the window of tolerance, with what we're talking about here, it's capacity work. It's about expanding your capacity to be able to show up in life regardless of what's going on, right? And regardless of the shitty things the life that happens. Because, and if you find yourself saying, oh, well, I'm going to do this thing, but this thing happened. So now I'm going to start a business, but this thing happened. So now I got to push that to the side. Or I want to go to, I want to go travel to this place or whatever, or I want to show up and do this thing. So it's like you're saying you're making commitments to show up, but then life happens, right? And then you don't. So the number one money making skill, and I've told Stacy and Janelle this, but like you want to make money in a business or you want to bring in more abundance, not even money, but just like abundance and the opportunities and all the things is to do what we say we're going to do and to show up and say, and that is one of the things I know in the beginning of my journey. Janelle, I know that's been super important for you. I mean, down to the littlest thing, like that is Janelle's like way of doing, everybody on, when, because I know I mean, I was doing really good with it and some, but it's when we just show up and do what we say we're going to do, regardless of what we feel like, what's happening, all the things, even a freaking like hurricane. Because that is going to that's just what has to happen. We become reliable, people can depend on us, we become consistent. I mean, if I had started doing this work, what, 5, 6 years ago, and then I just fell off. I mean, I have people that have been in my space for 4 years that just now are starting to work with me because they see like I'm not going anywhere. I'm still showing up and doing that. I'm still I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere, I promise. And I've said that, but people don't trust that in the beginning, right? They have to see that over time that, oh, she's still here. She's still teaching about this. She's still practicing it. She's still sharing what is happening with her life or, or whatever. She's still being a hot mess. Um, whatever. So that's fine. All right. Do you guys have any questions about that? Or Darla?
No, I was just going to say, so you're talking about integrity,
Right. Integrity, right? And
doing
but
what,
also
doing what you say, doing what you say you're going to do.
to yourself most, right? Is to say, okay, if I say I'm gonna show up and do something for like to go exercise, even, right? Even that, because that's the part I'd always like, oh, if it's with other people, then okay, I'll show up. But if it's for me, it has to be for us too, of like, okay, or to show up in a way of just with compassion too for ourselves, but to do this thing. So if we say, and you guys can just think of something you've said you're going to do, but then you still haven't done it because of whatever reason. Not to say those reasons are not valid, that's not what I'm saying. I am not saying that, you know, that death happened and that's why you did, like, there is no judgment, right? There's no judgment here, all acceptance. It's just this is information. But like when your house, there's something wrong with your house, or you get fired from a job or whatever, or you break a relationship, like it can all be valid stuff and life stuff, and you can take time off if you need to, right? But for the most part, whatever you say you're going to do it for yourself, and you just build up that momentum. But so doing this work allows for that. It allows for us to show up anyway, because when we have a lot of like when our window of tolerance is like not very big, and our neighbor could, I don't know, be going through a crisis, so we're like, okay, I can't do a live today because my neighbor like there's an issue or I don't know. um it's all, yeah, anyway, so that's what this is for. So if you want to really experience having more abundance in things and flow of whatever, then it's really, how are you committed to yourself um to do those things. So okay, let's go ahead and get on to this, so then we can get off of here. Does anyone have any questions about that at all? Any more questions? um All right, let's see here. Okay. Oh, and because if, when you say you know better, but you keep doing the same thing, it's not because you're broken, it's because your nervous system hasn't caught up with your consciousness. I found that. I was like, yes, it's because your nervous system hasn't caught up with what's happening up there. Okay, so you guys go ahead. I'm gonna turn on like some music here real quick. You guys can just take a seat, or if you're driving it, don't worry about this right now. You can come back and listen to it. Um, Let me bring this up. And so this is really, we're gonna do this visualization. This is the inner work experience that I was talking about a minute ago. Um, And so really, I want you guys just to, close your eyes, take a deep breath, grounding your energy again. You can just breathe in. You're breathing in, peace and positivity and openness and safety. Safety is a great one to breathe in when you're starting to do this work. And and then breathing out all of and what no longer serves you, but really just starting to regulating the nervous system. That's what we're doing with this work. And so breathing in again, and we're really just going to tell our nervous system that you are safe to feel this, right? You don't have to rush or force anything, but you are safe in this space. You are safe with me and with everyone else in this room. And just really remembering that there is no judgment, there's all acceptance. And I'm going to go ahead and share this. And so then just starting to, you can move your body a little bit if you would like. We're just going to go down from the head, starting up at the top of the head, and just doing a quick body scan down your body. And continue to breathe just to open up your meridians. And just knowing that you are being held. You can even do this just after a long day of whatever type of day it was for you. And so going down your body from your face down to your neck and your shoulders, down your arm. And going down your stomach and your hips and your legs, all the way down to your feet. And now just noticing, using your breath as an anchor, just noticing your breath coming in and your breath rising. And just noticing the temperature of your breath starting to feel your body relaxing. Now just bringing your awareness to the top of your head. Noticing any tension that's there. And then sending your breath to meet that tension that's there. As you exhale, just allowing any stress, any residual energy that is still in that space. Breathe through your breath. And then breathing in again, bringing that down into your jaw. And if you could, how would you relax your jaw? Releasing the control, the tension, just a little bit more. And now drawing your awareness into your shoulders. Really allowing them to dropping expectations for yourself, for what this process should look like, what your life should look like. Just allowing everything to be just as it is in this moment and allowing it to be perfect. And so now bringing your breath and your awareness into your heart chakra. And I want you to take a moment here to just feel your heart start to expand and breathe in. And see it in your mind's eye. Feel it. Yes. there's any tightness, breathing into that tightness and that tension. If there is any emotion that starts to come up, just breathing into that emotion. As your breath expands into your chest and your breath melts away, any tension and stress. And now send that beautiful breath all the way down to your chakra. As you breathe into that root chakra, just noticing the support that's holding you, that you are leaning on, that you're sitting on. And on your next exhale, just really allowing yourself to become heavier and heavier and relaxing more and more with each breath and exhale. And so now just sweeping from the top of your head, and you're letting any tension, any energy from your head, your heart, your back, your root chakra, your base, just melt into the support that's underneath you, that's supporting you. And now taking a moment to tune into your body and just landing in your body, even by taking a big, deep breath, letting your body move, any changes in posture, if you need to adjust. And so now bringing your awareness to the blackness behind your eyes, your eyelids. And I want you to see yourself in a dark room. And in this room, as you're looking around in this room, you notice the outline of light around some elevator doors. And so you start to walk up, even seeing your feet walking on the floor, up to that elevator. And you go up and you press the button to go down. You see those doors open and you step in. The doors close and you start to travel all the way down. And so 5, just allowing your breath to slow. 4, any thoughts just start to drift away. If any thoughts come in, you just come back to the breath. 3, as you're dropping in deeper and relaxing deeply into the surface. 2, just feeling the weight of your body on the support, on the chair, on the bed, on the ground. And then 1, that elevator stops. Those doors open and you step into a beautiful forest. And as you step into this forest with trees all around you, you can smell the fresh air. You can start to really use your senses to be in that space. You can feel the sun kiss your skin with warmth. You can hear the breeze in the trees. And you can feel the grass beneath your feet. And as you feel your feet on the grass, you can just feel those roots growing down into the earth. down from your feet all the way down to the core of the earth, wrapping around, grounding your energy to now, and knowing that at any point you can always return to this very safe space that you've created. And so now I want you to turn around and just imagine or see that pathway that's leading to a meadow. You can see it up. So the trees, you're in the forest, you see this pathway that's been beaten down. And you just start to walk down it. And as you come to the end, you find yourself in that meadow, in a clearing. And as you get closer, you notice that there's different parts of you. Some are happy, some are sad, some are angry, some are confident, some are selfish, some are rude. And so I really want you to just, in this moment, point out the one that feels the strongest for you, whether that be control, or it could be the archetype. It could be the archetype that felt the strongest for you. So the rescuer, the good girl, the chameleon, shifting into who you need to be, the shadow shaper. And I just want you to really connect with one of those archetypes, whichever one was yours or the one that you feel the most connected to. And I want you to see that shadow and feel it in your body in this moment. If there are any tension or sensations anywhere with that part of you that you've tried to diminish or not allow to bring up, or maybe it's the avoidance. And I want you to feel how it feels in your body, but also how is it dressed? What does she look like? What age is she? What's the look on her face? And just see and accept. You don't need to change anything, and nothing might come up right away. It could even be, it could be whatever comes up for you guys. Just allowing your imagination to really take over and trusting that what comes up is what is meant to be. And if you have a hard time just going back into your body of how you feel right now. We'll ask this part to come back with us. So you can ask a couple questions. You can just get to know them. And so you guys can go sit down somewhere, just kind of guiding to wherever that feels best for you, into your safe space. And I want you to ask that part of what is that part's job in your life? What does it do for you? Is it to keep you safe? Is it to, keep you from getting hurt? Or is it to make sure that you don't fail? Is it procrastination? Is that what it helps? Is it pushing people away?
Or not to chill. When your friend skips.
Is it avoiding? Is it withdrawing back into not speaking, numbing? And we are. It's going to be a little sped up here just for the case of time, but knowing that, then asking, who taught you that part to do that? Was it a parent? Was it a sibling? Was it maybe even from a past life? But someone taught that part, that job of procrastination or control or pushing people away or people pleasing. And so just starting to really explore and ask questions with this part of you, seeing what they look like, what they feel like. And I want you to bring in a sense of compassion for this piece of you, this part of you, even if you can't name it right now, but just really, I want you to see what compassion would look like. That part of compassion, that part of you that is compassion. Can even bring this piece in as a third person between you and this part to be the mediator, the part that you're judging of yourself. And asking that part, what does it need from you every day? What does it need from you to feel safe, for her to come out, for her to come out of the shadows and to not feel ashamed anymore? What do you need to hear? What is the one thing you would love to hear that would help you feel better in this moment? Hmm.
It's your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already.
And so before really and kind of wrapping this up,
Play responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
really starting to take in the surroundings of wherever you guys
Danny, did I
are
tell you I switched
at.
to BMO Business Banking?
You did?
You can even
Yes,
see
because BMO
yourself
understands every
holding
business and
hands
unique
with that
banking needs.
part.
Of course they do.
And this
So
is
their
really
expert
you
bankers
just
tailor
starting
their
to
advice
build a
to my needs,
relationship
whether
with
it's
this
finding the
part of
right cash
you.
flow
You
tools or
don't have to
business
find out
advice.
a lot of
You could say
information.
BMO knows my business.
Does BMO know this sounds like a commercial?
You just need to
It
be
doesn't.
in
It
this
does, because it
space
is. Learn more at bmo.com/businessbanking.
of
Banking
acceptance.
products are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank and name member FDIC.
Mom, what happens at the end of Goldilocks?
Well, the bears were too.
And so I want you guys to go ahead and you can give that part a hug or a kiss or whatever it is you want to do. To show them that you support them, you love them. If you don't feel like that, though, don't do that. Just do whatever it is. And this is you being able to connect with this part of yourself anytime that you would like to. And then I want you to imagine for a moment what it would feel like to no longer fear judgment for being that part of you or being that shadow part. For just a moment of imagining what would it feel like to no longer fear judgment around being controlling or mean or selfish or an addict or whatever it is that you felt ashamed or felt shame around or judged of yourself or even other people. But what would that lack of judgment and that level of acceptance and compassion allow you to do in your life? And so just starting to allow that to come up and start to think on that and that feeling in your body of acceptance. And so we're just going to we'll walk that part back into the forest, into the where we met them at, saying goodbye. Starting to come back to that elevator to go back up. So you see the doors.
Too nice to kick Goldilocks out.
And then you you go into the
Bliss,
elevator,
so
you
they
push
told
the
her
button
about
up.
Redfin.
But I thought
Redfin updates its listings every 2 minutes and gives personalized recommendations. So Goldilocks found something that was just right for her.
and
And
lived
so as
happily
I
ever
count
after.
from
In a cute house by the beach. With
5
no
to
bears.
1, I'm
Download the
just going to
Redfin app
start
to
to
get started.
come
Keep winning
back
opportunities.
into
CDDRE number
the room. So 5, just noticing the sounds around you. 4, just feeling the seat beneath you and your clothes, touching your skin.
I don't love you anymore.
3, just starting to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then just 2, taking one final deep breath in. And then 1, when you're ready, you just open your eyes. Okay. Let's see. Okay, you guys. So the reason for all of that is for you to, if you don't do this all the time, it's like a muscle. So this work is a muscle. You don't have to see anything. You don't have to do anything. This is you spending time in your inner world. And it can look however you want it to. When it's just us on like a call, we get to go way deeper into this of what it looks like for you. What does your safe space look like? It might not be a forest. It might be, for me, it's a beach. Okay, that's my safe space. It's never a forest, ever. But when I'm doing this for a bunch of people, I have a script I'm just going to follow because, but to individualize this journey, it takes the one-on-one, right? This is where soul coaching comes in, right? This is where that support of a coach, of me who specializes in this and does this with everybody, does this a lot every week. Or at least doing parts of it and we don't do it all the time. It's when you need it. It's when you're not able to get out of something, when you're just over and over this pattern, this trigger is just, then this is when we go into this. But also, like tomorrow, we're going to go into the golden shadow, which I was going to do that if we had time tonight, but we don't. But like the golden shadow, I have a beautiful script for that. And I haven't done it with anyone yet. And it is to step further into our light and start to show up when we say we're going, like that piece that we were talking about before. If that's something that you're like, I always say I'm going to show up and then I don't, and that's just been the pattern. So now you don't trust yourself. Perfect to do shadow work with the golden shadow. Absolutely. It's what to do. It's the most effective practice for that to gain trust in yourself that I've ever seen. So, all right. Do you guys have any questions or anything? I know all of you here have done something like that, but when you do it with me by yourself, it's just a whole different, it's just it's more personalized and individualized because this is your journey and I'm just the guide. So like you are doing this, right? And there's no right or wrong. Like even if you don't see anything, you're like, I don't know. That's your intellectual mind doing that. I used to be like that. I used to be like, I'm not seeing anything. It's because I was so much in my mind. I was not in my body at all. Like zero. So if your brain is going and going and you get distracted by everything, go back into your body, right? Where, okay, how am I feeling? What am I feeling? Even if you just yeah, that's what this work is for. And if you don't can't do that, then I have three practice or two for you to do. Sensitization practice and emotional release. Those two are what I always go back to when I start to feel a disconnect from my body. So, do you guys have any questions or thoughts or anything about any of that? Or are you guys awake? Because I am going to fall asleep. Oh, and you guys are outside. That's great. I knew. I'm like, is Stacy in her tree?
I wish. No, the guys are out back still cutting trees, but I came up front, so
Dang it.
I'm sitting
You
in the
guys have the
grass.
mo yeah, that's the best to be out there on the ground.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I'll go out there tomorrow. This will go with me.
Yes, go out to that tree.
Yes.
We have a session on Thursdays. I mean Friday. So,
Right. And
yeah.
it's gonna be tomorrow. No, I'm excited.
Yeah. Do you feel any better what it came up for you? Like what part is really coming up for you?
Um, well, just being in
Or
the
what?
moment
Yeah.
and my mine was being selfish. And I just need to
Mhm.
accept being more accepting of what I got going on, and
I
my
love
phone's up
it.
and it's gonna die. Gosh, dang it. Oh, I gotta get the charger.
Oh, okay. It's okay. We're about off here. It can die. Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
But yes, that's a powerful one, the selfish one. That's the hardest one for me. It was.
I'm at 1% too.
Okay. All right, you guys.
Oh,
Well, you guys all know. Well, Tammy, I'll send you about my offer and stuff too. Or just and even we just need to schedule a session, Tammy. You have one from the last one that you did. So you have two now. We need to schedule those.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So how was that for you? Were you able to like relax? Did you feel anything? Like how was it for you?
I really didn't feel much this time, which is kind of weird for me, but I had a lot going on, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay. So then that just kind of yeah, then you just,
And I literally just started doing my healing practice after 2 months. So
yeah,
literally last night.
okay.
And I moved 3 days ago.
Oh,
So
that's right. Yeah.
it's
And
cool.
again, so when there's a lot, yeah, but I'm glad that you restarted your thing,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
You're doing it again.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And to just be open to whatever happens in
Hmm.
any, to whatever happens in these things. Of course, I can't go very long, didn't do the whole thing this time, but it was just for you to go to that place, right? I
Yeah.
highly suggest all of you like have a safe space, have a blanket with you. I mean, even if you can't visualize it, have a blanket with you, have your candle. Like you want to create the feeling of safety. That's what this is. That's what that was about the most. Was you just because if you don't feel safe, your body is constricted, like you can't relax, and then nothing, like we have to. And then if people are going to be walking in, if you have people around you, I don't know, like we can't relax when there's people around us, right? When we're doing this. So it's just I'm telling you, if that safety piece isn't there, it almost is like that's when we're on alert, right? And we're like, okay, I can't. Yeah. And it's fine. Just know to work on the safety piece.
I locked myself in my meditation room.
I see you, girl. I see. I see.
I said, do not disturb me.
Yes. And it really does make a difference, doesn't it? Because
Yes.
then you don't have that like, oh my gosh, they're gonna walk in, or oh, I'm gonna hear a knock, or I'm gonna oh, and like it makes it or breaks it when you
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sitting in my van at the park.
I love it. And then but you
That'll
got
work
out and
too.
laid on the ground, didn't you? I saw
Yeah.
you. Okay, good. Good.
Funny.
Okay. How are you feeling? Are you guys at least feeling, I mean, now you can go to sleep. I'm gonna go to sleep. Or at least lay down and relax, and just work on yeah, work on sensitization. It's just like it's feeling. Get out of our fucking heads. When we do that, then all this just comes like flooding in when we get out of this right here.
Yep.
And like not yeah, man. Anyway, okay, guys. All right, well, thank you for being here. I'm just gonna do like tomorrow, I'll do a live tomorrow about my offer. I'll probably add it into this somehow. But if you guys want to, like all of you have a one-on-one with me, Darla, Janelle, you'll just have like a bonus one. Tammy, you do. So you guys will just get those scheduled for the next couple weeks. And then we can do do this work like, make it more personalized to you guys.
Do we have a session Friday?
Yes, we do. Is that okay?
What time?
Um, at 1, is that okay? Or not?
They're having a Father's Day cookout up there. Nikita's out for
Oh, okay, that's
several
right.
weeks, so
Well, then
I
we can
I need to help
reschedule
with that.
or do it Saturday if you want or whatever. Or I don't know, I'll text you. You text me.
Okay.
Or I'll just call you
Yeah.
tomorrow or something, or we'll have a phone
I was
call.
trying to think. I don't think I have anything Saturday, but you never know.
Okay.
I have to check my calendar.
Check your calendar. All right, you ladies. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Nikki.
Thanks for doing this work. Tammy, you can chill now with your new house. All
That
right.
is the plan.
All right. I love you guys. Have a good
Love
night.
you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.